Welcome back. Let's take a quick check on other discussions in diplomatic circles.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Abu Bakr Al-Baghdadi's death was speculated for months, but now the US president says he's truly dead.
Abu Bakr Al-Baghdadi is dead. He was the founder and leader of ISIS, the most ruthless and violent terror organization anywhere in the world. The United States has been searching for Baghdadi for many years. Capturing or killing Baghdadi has been the top national security priority of my administration. U.S. Special Operations Forces executed a dangerous and daring nighttime raid in northwestern Syria and accomplished their mission in grand style. The U.S. personnel were incredible. I got to watch much of it.
President Trump said Baghdadi was accompanied by 3 of his young children when he entered the dead-end tunnel in Idlib province. He detonated his suicide vest, killing them all. The blast mutilated Baghdadi's body, but an on-site DNA confirmed his identity. Baghdadi had long been sought by the United States as head of a jihadist group that at one point controlled large areas of Syria and Iraq, where it declared a caliphate. The U.S. declared the caliphate defeated earlier this year, although IS militants remain active in the region and elsewhere. 2014 was the only time Baghdadi was seen in public. He reappeared in a video released by IS earlier this year. The Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces said the operation to kill Baghdadi had taken place after its intelligence pinpointed his location. SDF spokesperson Kaino Gabriel said the operation was launched after the military intelligence located some of the main Islamic State leaders. Reacting to news of his death, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu congratulated President Trump.
I want to congratulate President Trump on the impressive achievement, an operation that led to the death of the Daesh leader al-Baghdadi. This reflects the united resolve of the free countries led by the United States to fight the forces of terror, the terror organizations and the terrorist states. This is an important milestone, but it's part of a longer battle which we must win.
Back home, U.S. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham praised the Special Forces operation that resulted in the apparent suicide of the fugitive leader.
I've been talking to the president for months about the war on terror, and every time I would bring up the topic, he would tell me without any hesitation, I'm going to get that blank guy. And I can't use the word on television, but the president's been determined for a very long time to bring Baghdadi to justice.
But from around the world, reactions have been mixed. From Iraq, which praised its own intelligence forces, to the Turkish President Recep Erdogan, who said the killing marked a turning point in the joint fight against terrorism, to the French President Emmanuel Macron, who emphasized continuous international partnerships and the war against terror, to the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who said the war against Daesh was not over.
Now, all eyes are on Britain this week, and I think we all know why. The October 31st deadline given by the European Union is closing in, and there is no certainty yet for the country's exit. Last week, British MPs voted down a 3-day timetable proposed by Mr. Johnson for Brexit, but they passed the second reading of the withdrawal agreement bill, as it is officially known. On Friday last week, the EU said it had approved in principle to another Brexit extension, but is yet to give a time frame.
This was Wednesday, October 23rd. British MPs have just voted down the Prime Minister's 3-day timetable, forcing the Prime Minister to request another extension for Brexit.
Alas, we cannot now know what the EU will do in response to the request from Parliament. I stress it wasn't my request, but a request from Parliament to ask for a delay. We are awaiting, Mr. Speaker, their reaction to Parliament's a request for a delay. I think myself, I must respectfully disagree with my right honourable friend, perhaps not for the first time. I think it would still be very much in the best interest of this country and of democracy to get Brexit done by October the 31st.
As at this time, he said he will wait and see what the EU decides on a Brexit delay. He called on Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn how he would get Brexit done, repeating his disappointment that Parliament had rejected his timetable while voting in favour of his deal. By the next day, Mr Johnson said he was asking Parliament to approve a national election to take place on December 12th as part of his efforts to ensure Britain leaves the EU.
So the way to get this done, the way to get Brexit done, is, I think, to be reasonable with Parliament and say if they genuinely want more time to study this excellent deal, they can have it, but they have to agree to a general election on December the 12th. And that's the way forward.
Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn said he will wait and see what the European Union decided on the Brexit delay before saying which way his party will vote on in the Prime Minister's offer of an election.
The principle is take no deal off the table, EU answer tomorrow, then we can decide.
By Friday, EU ambassadors of the 27 countries that will remain in the bloc after Britain leaves were set to discuss Britain's request for an extension of the Brexit deadline until January 31st, 2020. Under the first idea, Britain will leave on January 31st, 3 months after the current departure date, but earlier if it and the EU ratify an agreement before that. The second one would include a second specific date when Britain could leave. Meanwhile, on the streets of London, residents questioned the idea of a December general election.
No deal Brexit, people don't really understand what it means. And the idea of it being a clean break is pretty stupid in my view. So in my opinion, it's effectively putting sanctions on ourselves voluntarily and leaving the largest and most successful trading bloc in the world at the moment with no plan B. So I'd prefer us not to do that. I think Labour is right in putting down a red line and saying we really should not even consider an election until this stupidity has been pushed out of court.
I think they're waiting to see what the EU will come back today with, if they're going to extend it for 3 months or just a short period. But I do think that to get the stalemate ended, I think that probably we might need an election, or because the Parliament is not budging, there's so many Remainers, they don't want to go either way. And I just think to take no deal off the table is just another way to frustrate Brexit, really.
And on Friday, the EU agreed to London's request for a Brexit deadline extension, but set no new departure date, giving time for Britain's bitterly divided Parliament to decide on Mr Johnson's call for a snap election. And though he says it's up to the EU to decide a delay to Brexit, the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson remains positive of a Brexit by October 31st, and that if the opposition leader party oppose his bid for a December 12th general election, his government will not engage in pointless Brexitology in Parliament.
And that's another program this week. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Don't forget you can reach me on @Amarachi_Ubani or @Channels Television. I'll see you next time.